Hi, everybody. It's Alex Sher with Technology Executives Club, Technology Executive Review. We're going to have a roundtable on executive presence for technology leaders. We've got our peer advisory group. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good. Good.
Great. Everybody's enthusiastic about it. Doing great. Thank you. Well, it's good to have you. And we're going to talk about executive presence for technology leaders and engaging with other executives in the board. So let's get to it. And one of our members, Kevin O'Brien, couldn't make it today, but he sent me the answers. So I'll pretend I'm Kevin and sound really smart, hopefully. So anyways, that's that. So let's get through this. Any big tip or biggest challenge you want to talk about when it comes to just executive presence or just dealing with the board?
One thing I don't know if everybody else has run into this. Have you guys had challenges when you suddenly have somebody on the board who is a technologist and they want to start talking more tech than they talking about the business or the project in hand? I've noticed that sometimes we have board members who take us down rabbit holes and normally they always ask us not to go into the rabbit hole and we have to pull the board members back out.
That's an interesting observation, especially with AI. I would think that's happening a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but then we're trying to say, well, let's take that offline. We can take a deeper dive, but then you're still trying to explain, hey, I have this project or this initiative or this is what we're doing, and they really want to dig deep in.
I had a similar experience. So we do, I present to the board audit committee, right, on the cyber strategy and cyber security, right, posture. How we enhance our security posture, kind of every quarterly update to the audit committee, part of our board, right? One of the things they come up and then recently is some of the things about AI. How do you implement? What's your strategy, AI strategy for cyber security side of it? Some of the answers, which we use big Microsoft products, right? Some of them are already integrated with AI. But some of the questions, like you said, pretty technically because they have probably heard somewhere, saw somewhere in the Google nowadays, right? Everybody talking about how do we implement this AI into, how do we get this, how do we get this? Pretty detailed technical things they're asking about, which some of them are not related, not applicable to where we are, right? If we are using Microsoft products, they're talking about something else, right? But because they heard from somewhere, they probably read somewhere. So it's kind of a situation where, especially with AI, everybody seems to have some kind of knowledge about what things are. So so it's like they have a solution in their pocket, right? They're like, oh yeah, here it is. So what's the question for? What's the strategy for this? So my answer to them, my presentation is always about how do we enhance our security posture using several different mechanisms and technologies, right, including the leveraging AI. But it's just people are so much into AI these days. They just wanted to make sure that you do have that presence in your strategy, whether it makes sense or not. Sometimes it's very difficult to tell them that it doesn't make sense, especially with the board, right? So I need to have a little bit of it's a learning experience for me too. That how do I present to them? Because it's not about just security posture, how you enhance it. It's about that question more into about how are we leveraging AI? The other way of looking at it is we don't want to be, what is that called, failure, fear of missing, right? Fear of missing. Is that what they call it as? So FOMO kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, even board and audit members are into that situation. Oh, we don't want to miss that AI, leverage AI. And sometimes people expect not only board, even the some of the executive leaders expect magical results with the AI. I've seen that happening too. So it's a challenging situation for the technology leaders because everybody's asking the questions, everybody asking about AI, everybody wants to leverage AI, whether it makes sense or not sometimes, right? But it's probably, so we are in a, what is it called, the Garner, that hyper, what is it called, the graph, right? We're in
The hype cycle. We're totally in the hype cycle.
Yeah, exactly. That's where probably we are in. But once the dust settles in, probably in the next quarter or so, people will probably ask a genuine, reliable question. But now people are kind of how do we implement this? How do we implement that? Where is your AI strategy for cybersecurity? Where is your AI strategy for auditing, SOX, this and that? Everywhere they want to use AI. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it does, but that's a challenge I'm going through.
So I think then, Tim, how do you, anybody else that's listening, how do you handle Tim's question, which is they're going down the rabbit hole, right, Tim? And you missed the chance in the board meeting to talk to about the real issues or the business issues. That's what I heard, right, Tim?
They try. That's
yeah.
where you got to try and take it offline and say, let's take that a little deeper and maybe we can set up time. But I've just had them happen a few times. Len, have you experienced that, or Stacey?
Thanks, Praveen, by the way. Obviously, your experience. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a little bit of this. We've definitely we've had instances where we've had people. In a lot of cases, it's in our case, it might be a board member who is bringing in an experience from something that they've done with another organization.
Yeah.
That they want to apply that template to us and say, well, we tried this at this location, or this, within this organization, and partly what I found is trying to diplomatically kind of handle that as well as possible to try to bring it back to our organization. I think that the biggest thing I feel when I'm dealing with, when I'm meeting at board level, would be to understand about the need to kind of shift your role. In an IT technology leadership, you do have a lot of different, you wear a lot of different hats over time. And I think it's this sort of shifting gears and seeing myself, at least in those meetings, as more in a consultative model. So I really see myself as the consultant there for technology that's really there to try to bring forward what are the important things they need to know about and we need to have exchanges on, but also translating that in a way that's palatable and it's kind of in a level where we can have a business discussion about it. So I think that translation is a two-way street as far as a technologist being able to share what sometimes is very complex and challenging issues, but in a way that's in a way that the board can really understand it and work with it.
The one thing I did, which probably seeing some good results, I still have to see for next quarter and so, but what I did was for AI strategy, once we got the board members are asking about AI strategy in cybersecurity, one of the things I did was I formed a committee from various leaders, like sales leaders, HR leaders, supply chain operation leaders, right? Everybody kind of part of this committee, including our legal general counsel, right? Made sure this as a AI committee. The whole idea here is not just cybersecurity. The question came from cybersecurity from audit committee, but I just kind of formed this committee and wanted to see, where we can tackle these problems, with leveraging the AI and modern technologies. So that's the whole idea of that committee. That seems to be go very well within our organization, but we still have to present that to the board. But people in our organization, all the leaders are pretty happy about it, because instead of just saying that technology leaders coming saying that here is my AI strategy, I would rather want to involve all the leaders and see where the pinpoints are, where can we leverage this technology for the business point of view, make some ROI on this, right? Everybody wants to have the shiny tool, but my idea is that, hey, go to these sales and see how can we, see the pinpoints from their area and leverage AI and then get some good results from their side. So that's why I involved sales leaders, marketing leaders, and general counsels to make sure that we have that governance in place, right? So internally, it's going super well for now. Very good feedback, positive feedback, but we need to see how the board is going to respond to that. But I'm very positive that that kind of approach is working very well so far.
That's a great approach. I think you mentioned that to me before. I think it's similar to the project management approach where you have everybody involved.